Good evening, everyone. Om Shanti. A lot of familiar faces here. Anyone here for the first time? Are you? Welcome. And welcome to everyone else, and welcome to everyone on Zoom. So we have you spoken on a Thursday night before COVID, maybe? Sister Sabita? No. Well, you're in for a treat tonight because we have a new face on Thursday nights, and she is one of I shouldn't say this, but one of my favorite people to talk to over lunch downstairs or breakfast. And I think you're going to have a very, very good time tonight. She's going to ask you to participate, though. I'm giving you a little clue. She's going to put a little pressure on us tonight. Okay. So the theme for this entire month is a time of growth and renewal. And tonight, Sister Sabita will lead us in identifying limiting beliefs and overcoming them. So, what does that mean? How do we become? We have expressions like, you're your own worst enemy. I can't do this. Do you believe it when I'm going to use the word preach around here, that your original state is to be loving and kind and peaceful? How many of you beat up this child inside of you on a regular basis? How many of you come from a history of beating yourself up? Nobody? Nobody but me as a child? Okay, thank you for your honesty. Why do we do that? We call it low self-esteem. What happened to us? You have any theories? Debbie? Let me give you the mic so Zoom can hear you. Okay, hold on.
Our true self. I don't know. I did forget. I know I forgot, but now I remember. Mhm.
Anyone else have a little theory about what happened to us? And sometimes things happen to us. Like we blame our horrible moods on the drama of life. This happened to me. And this happened to me as a child. And my mother used to do this and my father used to do that. And we wind up doing it to our kids, right? So we kind of grow into this idea that we're not perfect at all. And sometimes the devil's on our shoulders. Sometimes we are, I don't even have to tell you. We have all these expressions, like we become our own critics. We have low self esteem. We have books and books of self help in the library. So tonight we're going to figure it all out, right? We're going to find out how we can take these limiting ideas. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi who said, be the change you want to see in the world. So, how can I possibly create my own world if I have not worked on myself enough to realize that I am someone who deserves to be happy, someone who deserves to not be the inner critic, someone who is my cheerleader instead of that child inside of me getting beaten up all the time. Tonight, we're going to learn how to respect that child and maybe even go back to that child who might have been in many ways wiser than we are. Have a seat. Come in the middle of a small group. Come. Yeah. So, Sister Sabita, how long have you been practicing Raja Yoga? I know, I don't have your bio. Yeah. And what did you do before? Come on up. Come on. Before you were BK. I was in school. And your mic if you want participation. How did you get here?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
How did I get to the Brahma Kumaris? With my parents, I guess, when I was still a teenager. My parents, well, before I was a teenager, I guess, my parents were searching for answers to life, maybe religion. And so they were looking, and then they came across the Brahma Kumaris in 1976 in Guyana, South America. And I was a teenager at that time. So I came along with my siblings and my parents. And that's how it started. And then I came here a few decades ago to continue this journey. So a very warm welcome to all of you this evening. And it's my pleasure to be with you and to share some thoughts I have. And I would also like to hear from you, because I see this as a place of study, a place where we all gather to learn, to understand better, so that we can go back home into our lives and do better. So it's not just for me to share, but for you to share, so that we can learn from each other, especially this topic of growth and renewal. If we really want to grow, we have to do not only do things differently, but also do different things. Otherwise, we're stuck, right? We're in the same place and we're not going to move from there. Renewal itself, the word itself, tells that it would be different. I will have to do something. And so if we really want there to be growth and renewal, I cannot sit back and wait for it to happen. Otherwise, it will never happen, right? And so this is why I thought of this topic of the limiting beliefs and how to overcome them. Because why is it that we're not able to grow and develop and prosper, not materially, but spiritually, especially, the way we would like? What is holding us back? And so I thought maybe one of the things that is holding us back is probably the things we believe that are limiting, the things that we believe that are not necessarily helping us, to become that better person. We all went to school, and we encourage our children to go to school. So we learn certain things, right? And what we learn in school is how to develop in a physical manner, in a physical way, and how to earn enough money and develop ourselves materially, financially. I'm not so sure if we learn. I don't know the school system now. When we were in school, moral education was mandatory. So that was a part of our upbringing. Maybe it is there still. But a lot of emphasis is put on academia, which is good. But what about the other part of our makeup? I can be the brightest person, but I'm such a snob. I have no friends. I can be the wealthiest person, but I have such a bad manner about me. Who wants to talk to me? So the academia part is not going to make us well-rounded and develop fully. It's part of it, but it's not everything. And so as we grow up in life and we develop, we learn many things maybe until when we reach a much mature age. But then many of these other limiting beliefs are still there that we never addressed. And so I thought that tonight we can talk about some of those things. What is it that is holding us back? And yeah, some of you would have heard the meditation commentary that was played a little earlier about sitting on this inner throne of self-respect of who I am and trusting myself there and holding myself there and feeling that. And then the beautiful song at the end. And it's time to jump off that cliff and be who I was born to be. Are we ready to do that? Are you ready? Yes? Wonderful. Are the rest of you ready? Yeah, that's why you're here today and those on Zoom. Because if I don't try, if I don't do that, then I will be the same place, the same person, right? So what are those limiting beliefs that are holding us back? And this is where I would like you to if you don't mind, you can share some things that you know. Like, for example, I would say one for myself. Nothing would get me up here to sit sit on this stage and behind this front of this mic and speak to people. It's like, no. I would prefer to sit out there and greet all of you. So I still meet you, but not from here. But then I'm always put in positions where I am in this position. So I had to begin to accept that, okay, I will have to do this sometimes, and I would just have to accept that and prepare myself mentally, physically, whatever, so that I can do what has to be done. But the belief, oh, that is not for me, didn't serve me well. I had to change it. Another belief I have is that whatever, and maybe this is what caused the problem. Everything I do has to be perfect. Perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean perfect. And you know how damaging that is? Very damaging. Because why? We're not perfect. Right? We're not perfect. So how can everything I do be perfect? It wouldn't. And so instead of to do things beautifully, perfectly, is wonderful. But to be that kind of a perfectionist is not growth. So I came to terms with that one day. I realized it's not going to work that way because I would never be able to grow and develop and be that better person because I'm always judging myself. Now, it's good to assess, but not to judge. So that was one. And then secondly, who will want to work with me? Who will want to be on my team if I'm always perfect or expect? Now, high standards is a different thing from being that kind of a perfectionist. And so just accepting each other for who they are and allowing the space for others to use their creativity and grow. And that will bring the joy, and that brought such happiness, not only in my life, but in the lives of others. And what happened? Everybody is perfect, right? In their own capacity. And it is that kind of understanding of perfection in that way that actually brought so much beauty because we learn from each other and we support each other and we piggyback on each other. You know, this one did this much, somebody else will come along and add something else, make it look even better. Somebody else comes along, add a little bit, add something else, it looks even better. And so it at the end of it all, such a beautiful piece got created. And I'm saying it like that. It means any situation becomes better when we add, right? Or we allow others to add, bring their beauty to that piece of work that has to get done. And at the end of it all, it was the most perfect piece of whatever it may be. Whether it's an event, whether it's a decoration, whether it is a piece of art, whether it was a display, whatever it may have been, it became the most perfect thing. And it's such a liberating thing. And that's where growth is. And that's how we learn. So those were my two that and there are others. We all have so many things that hold us back. And then when we realize them, we can begin to work on them. So maybe you can share some of the limiting beliefs that that you've recognized that are holding you back. And these limiting beliefs could be, about yourself directly. It could be things related to your family. It could be things related to your work or to the world. This world is such a bad place. So, if I have that belief, what a danger that would be. I wouldn't step out. I would stay indoors all the time. And we know how unhealthy that is. So yes, brother.
Yeah, I think I would say one thing is difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And often people say, this is how I am, or this is who I am.
Mhm.
That's kind of is very
Mm-hmm.
in my mind. So I would say like it's continuation of what you're saying. Great topic. And I really believe that once you feel that you can change, it's not just whatever you feel you are. You have a power to change. And I think that's very important. It's better growth.
Yes. And when we change? When the pain gets too much, when we can't tolerate anymore, right? Then is when isn't that amazing? We know that these things are not helpful, but we don't take the necessary steps to fix them, do we? When do we take those necessary steps? When we can't deal with it, when we are on the brink of falling apart, and then we say, no, I got to do something here, right? Why we wait till then? And that was what Louise was asking earlier. What are we waiting for? Somebody else to do it?
Well, maybe it's scary.
Fair. You're scared.
Scary.
It is scary.
To change is scary, but
Very scary.
I want to back it up to the part of your bio that I forgot to say. She's one of our UN delegates and leads classes and teaches, but you were talking about how uncomfortable you used to be. So you're actually modeling what you're talking about for everybody today because you are what you wanted to. And I don't know how much pain you were in. Do we have to be in all that much pain in order to have that esteem grow and want to not lead with our ego, not be arrogant, but to just be free enough to change?
Yep.
But you did
Indeed.
it and you do it.
Yeah, I was
Does it every day.
I was put in the position. So it's like, okay, step up to the plate. Yeah, you have to. So yeah, sometimes when we say yes to things, we don't know how it's going to evolve. We just say yes, and as it says, God opens the door. So you say yes, and He says, "Okay, here you go." So, but yes, I still want to hear from you. What are some of your limiting beliefs? But before that, there is, Christmas time, holiday time, December. Macy's in New York City, right? They dress up so nicely. And what is their theme for the past, as far as I can remember, years? Their main theme, do you know? Believe. Believe. So every holiday time, that time of the year when so much is going on, right? That's the theme. Believe. Now you can believe anything. You can choose to believe whatever it is you want to believe. Believe in Santa Claus or whatever, right? Believe in the magic of the holidays, whatever. But believe. What am I believing in? What am I choosing to believe? And this thing of believe, so many concepts are out there. You put your heart and mind and everything into something, and you believe that this is going to happen, and it manifests itself. Right? So, same, if I believe I'm not good enough, how am I going to perform? Lousy. Right? If I believe I can never be as good as any name you want to give, compare, then even what you are doing, you would never accept that it was good enough. Because this is what you believe. So what are we choosing to believe? But before we can know what we are choosing to believe, we need to identify what are the things I believing that are damaging, that are not uplifting. Because it helps. So when it crosses your mind later on, you'll remember this evening. And that we talked about it. And here it's coming in my mind now. Right? And immediately you're going to switch it. But if you don't identify one or two, then they will come again, but you won't be able to catch it on time. Right? That's why I'm encouraging you to share. Think about it. Identify one or two limiting beliefs. If you don't want to talk in the mic for everybody to hear, it's okay. If you want to write it or you want to think about it, Louise has pencil and paper. And try to identify one or two that you know, or that you may be more ready to transform, change. Would you like to write? If you would like to write, she will give you the paper. If not, think about maybe more than one or two. Think about one about your own self. What unhelpful belief you have about yourself that you know is not helpful, totally unhelpful. And jot that down. And those online, if you do the same, that would be wonderful. Think about that limiting belief you have about yourself. Nah, it's your personal thing. Think about that limiting belief, that really non-beneficial awareness that you have maybe about family, relationships, probably. Maybe about also about the world.
You don't have to show it to anybody. But sometimes I find that if I'm stuck, like you're sitting there trying to think, start writing. Just move the pencil and see what comes on the page. It's a nice little trick that I do.
Yeah, that's
very
true too.
often.
Because these beliefs, it's amazing that how deep rooted they are. They can come from so many different places. They come from our childhood upbringing of anything. Not that our parents did a bad job or anything of that kind. It just happened. The things we saw, the things we heard, the things we were exposed to. And there are other elements, societal norms, peer pressure, So there are different um, uh, elements that can generate um, these kind of beliefs in ourselves about ourselves and our life. Anybody wants to share anything? I
Can I
want to
share
add one thing. Yes.
Yeah. Many of us came from religious families or families that had beliefs about religion that were very, we fell short of the mark, or we were afraid we were going to go to hell or whatever, And I'll admit, I grew up feeling maybe I wasn't worthy of God's love, that I just wasn't hitting that mark.
Mhm.
And if the truth be known, that ugly little voice in my head can still come up, even though I've been a student here for 9 years. And I think that's what you meant, Sister Sabita, when you said that they're very deep. These things are so deep. And it doesn't have to be outward trauma. It could be something really that scars you. My parents would praise me in public, but in private, there was a little shaming going on. And I was very confused as a child. So how could God love me?
Right.
The
thing is, right, and like I said, he be not here to, blame our parents in any way, right? But I want to bring in this other aspect of belief and where God is concerned, as you raised it, Louise. I pray every day. I believe God will help me, right? But He's not helping. I'm not. I'm not getting the help I'm looking at. Well, I need or I'm expecting. Does it work like that? Then there's the other side of it. God helps whom? And I'm sure you know it. Whom does God help? Right. When you do unto others, you do unto me, right? The Supreme. So God helps those who helps themselves. So I'm sitting down thinking, oh, I'm praying to God every day and I have faith He will help me, but I'm not doing anything to help myself. Huh?
You're begging God to do
So
it.
maybe he, she, but I'm not able to see it. Or maybe he's waiting for me to take a first step. Right? Who knows? But sitting down again and waiting, even for God to do something, is not the healthiest thing. Right? We have to get up and do. do the things, take the steps towards what I want to achieve in my life. Otherwise, everybody else will come and run past me in the race of life. They will reach the finish line, and I'm still staggering behind, waiting for some miracle to happen. And the miracle is probably happening in front of me, but I'm not noticing it. Right? So, have you identified some of those limiting beliefs? Yeah? Okay. Now, I don't know how many you captured, but maybe choose one or two that you feel you would like to work with now. Now, meaning from now. And ask yourself, because these are awarenesses that we have deep inside of ourselves. What do you think you can do? What change, what awareness can you have instead? What will you tell yourself instead of whatever it is that is? I am not good enough. Like, for example, Louise's belief that I'm not worthy of God's love. So what would you tell yourself instead when that thought crosses, whatever it is that you have? When that thought crosses your mind, what will you tell yourself instead? Try to think about that. And those online also, I hope you are giving this some thought. Good. Did you identify something? Yes. Now I was thinking, I don't know if you feel comfortable doing this, but I thought maybe you can share in pairs with someone whom you don't know, or if you feel comfortable to talk with the one who you know well, because you feel more trusting and you feel safe. Would you like to do that? Share with anyone in the room. Anything, what limiting belief you have, how you're going to change that, any story you have around that limiting belief, you can do that. Who would? Okay, come a little closer. Mm. So, how was that? Yes. Did you enjoy sharing with each other? Yes, it's always refreshing, right? Yeah, when we share. Anybody wants to say anything that came out of what you don't have to go into all the details, but anything that struck you from what you heard? Anybody would like to say anything? The mic? Where's the mic? You have it, okay.
Uh, it's what you spoke is so wonderful. Thank you. But I feel in many countries that at least the one I came from, India, in our young days, women when girls were not given the same rights or
Mm.
you know, will to do what they wanted. All the parents wanted was to get them married, and that's it. No other freedom was. I wanted to work, she refused. And we, in those days, we used to obey our parents. But nowadays, it's very different. The children do whatever they want. My own children did it. I couldn't,
You
even
couldn't
if
stop them from
even if I didn't like what they were doing, they still did it, and there was nothing I could do. So I'm just saying that when you grow up like that, you just have that feeling that you're inferior,
Mhm,
you
mhm,
know, to
mhm.
many others in the world, especially men. And then once you get married, at least in our country, and when I got married, nowadays it's different. We had to just do whatever the in-laws and the husband wanted.
Yes, I know.
You know,
I came from a similar
right.
culture.
I never wanted to get married. I wanted to go and live in an ashram. I was always towards spirituality. But my mother called all the relatives and started so hysterical, crying and screaming, tell this stupid girl of mine that she cannot leave my house. She can only leave my house if she gets married.
I know, I
So I
understand.
had no choice. Everybody started yelling at me because
Mhm,
that's the way things were.
indeed.
So I was never, I never got what I wanted.
And now?
Now it's easier because my husband and I, we give each other the freedom to
So
follow what we
congratulations.
want. But
Right.
I cannot, we've been married over 50 years. And he's a very good person, generous enough to let me. I know
Mhm,
some friends whose husbands are still very bossy and
mhm,
won't let their wives have much freedom.
mhm.
But thank God I have that now. So I'm more into all this.
So at least, even if you couldn't get but at least there is someone that you shared your life with who is more understanding, yeah, and allow you at even so at this age you could be more yourself. That's wonderful. Congratulations, and continue doing that. And also, it's important that the lessons we've learned for ourselves, apply that today to those around us. Don't let them have to go through the same thing that we did. You know, help them to grow and develop in a different way. Yes, thank you. Yes.
I had this for myself that I'm afraid of public speaking, and because I feel others are going to judge me, and I'm also afraid of confrontation, having difficult conversations with somebody. I would rather shut myself than have a confrontation or have a conversation about something. But things are changing, like I've also been a student here for 2 years now. So I feel that even though that I still won't confront somebody, I just feel that internally I can talk to myself. I can talk to my soul, and I can be at a comfortable space within myself, that I can overcome it much easily than I would in the past. I would hold on to things in the past. Not anymore, but I still also have to overcome my fear of public speaking, or and to think that others are judging me, because like I was telling Louise, that nobody's judging me, nobody has the time. People are so busy themselves.
Nobody has the time. I like that. Good, beautiful. And then you spoke so nicely now. Lovely. Maybe one more, or we can. Okay, it's okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm not sure because when I was at my age, because when I was younger, yes, I knew what was holding me was a lot because of education. I mean, parenting, the way they raised me, and all that. And but today, I don't know. I feel like it's my time to relax. Is that not okay? It's like, what do I have to accomplish? Do I have to be, I don't know, I mean, manager of something? I mean,
The manager of yourself.
I'm managing myself. I'm doing
Good.
things I like.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
No, yes, you're wonderful, because you've reached a point now where you're able to do the things you like to do.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. And be happy with what you're doing. And the other tricky part, so congratulations, you're doing that.
Oh, so I can go.
Of course. But they the other part is the struggles that we had to go through to get to this point, right?
A
Where
lot.
finally I'm able to do
A,
whatever I
a
want.
lot. It's like I'm a different person than I was
Right.
back then.
What we need to do is don't present the same challenges to our next generation. Teach them how to believe and trust in themselves, the true self, and not that they do whatever they want. That also is not good, because that can come from some other part that is not healthy inside of us, right? The bullying and the ego, and right, we don't want them developing those things. So is to what we've learned to teach the younger generation, or show them, this is how you trust in yourself. This is how you believe in yourself. With self, the true, beautiful, pure light that you are. Right? When we understand who we really are, that this is what, and it's not just I am the light, you are the light, and each one of us is the light. So it's not just I am light, right? Everyone is the light. So when I can trust in that, and that light radiates love, peace, purity, bliss, happiness, all the same qualities. When I recognize that, and this is what I am, then from that place, I'm able to sense what it is I have to do here. Do I need to respond? No. Do I need to respond? Yes. Okay. What am I going to say? Right? So things like that. So to train myself to believe and trust in our, they say our gut feeling telling me this. Trust in our conscience. Listen, teach ourselves to listen to our conscience, our inner voice that is coming from our true self. Believe in that. And teach, right? The next generation, so that our children and grandchildren don't have to go through the same struggles we went through to get where we are today at the age of whatever, right? Over 40, as my brother was saying just now. Life begins at 40, because that's when we suddenly realize, oops, what was I doing with myself all these years? So let them do it for ourselves and help the others to recognize that in themselves. Because these youngsters, they are looking for that. And when they look at us, what are they seeing? Some of us are struggling, some of us are not struggling so much, right? But where is their hope? If I don't know it myself, right? And look, the world we're handing it over to them. It's a beautiful world, but it's kind of, we know what it is, right? The challenges. So what are we handing over? And then when you look at us, how we handle things, they said, I don't want to be like you. That's why they tell us that. I don't want to be like you. So what am I going to say now when they tell us that? So why not? Look, this is how I evolve. And you can do this from now. You don't have to wait until you're over 50 or 40 or whatever. You can start now. Right? Thank you. And so whatever it is, we are learning as we're going along, and we're evolving and becoming better and better. And for any change to take place, what is the one thing that is needed? Faith, determination, maybe more than one thing, right? But faith, that the determination, the courage, and consistency, which means you have to practice consistently, every day, 10 times a day. Every time that thought crosses your mind, that limiting belief, stop yourself and change it to what you would prefer to think instead, or to believe instead. And that we will have to do over a period of time before we actually begin to see the change. As you say, 21 days, you have to do something, for a period of time to break the habit. It's a habit. So I have to do the opposite, whatever it is I'm going to do for a period of time to begin to see the benefit of it. Then it starts to get a bit easier. Then we can really get to the point we can jump off that cliff, be who we were born to be.
It's like public speaking, to talk back to it. You have to do it. And there's what I call good anxiety.
Yeah.
There's bad anxiety, then there's good anxiety. The good anxiety is when I'm taking a pickaxe and chopping up the ice. I'm destroying what was hard as a rock, and I'm making it doable. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Thank you.
So if you all are okay, any questions, anything, I hope this was helpful to you.
Yes. Any
And,
questions or comments?
everybody
Yeah.
online is good.
Okay.
So I think we've come to the end of our time
Yeah.
together.
If you would be kind enough to do a little meditative commentary before we leave, kind of
Mhm.
summing up.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, good. And then we'll have a little Toli and blessing for everybody as we leave. Thank you, Sister Sabita. This
You're
was
welcome.
lovely.
Thank you for the
Yeah.
opportunity. Thank
Yeah.
you, all of you, for coming to make it meaningful.
Is this Sunday the World Meditation Hour? I
Mm.
think it's the 18th. Yeah, I think so. So we have that
Yes, it
here.
is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and
So-
they're all on the bulletin board. And Saturday is a healthcare
But-
professional. What's that, 3 to 5, I think. Call Harmony House if you're in the
Two.
healthcare.
2 to 5.
2 to 5. Okay, it's all
If-
posted.
If you're in healthcare profession or you know
Yeah.
someone in that field,
Be lovely
can invite them.
downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today is International Day of Families.
Oh, really?
And International Day of Families, what are family values and the things, we all, were brought up in maybe not 100% perfect families. The world is not perfect anyway, but a lot of family values were infused in us. Maybe some not so nice things, but also a lot of values. So holding true to some of those values that were infused in your life, let us do a little bit of reflection, meditation.
I just want to say the meditation on Sunday is 6:30 to 7:30 in person here.
PM
Yeah,
evening.
PM, evening, if you're interested in doing, as a group has a lot of energy. It's really going to be beautiful.
Okay, so sit comfortably, keeping both feet on the ground and your hands on your lap. Let us take a couple of deep breaths in to relax ourselves. Breathe in deeply and release. Take another deep breath in. This time, breathe in peace and love. And as you release, let all the tension in the muscles melt away. As you watch your breath in and out, your thoughts are in this present moment. And now gently turn your attention inward. Connect with the light that's behind the eyes. And as you connect with that light, allow yourself to feel that brilliance, that sparkle. Knowing that this light is who you are. Feel your own light. There is such joy as you love yourself for the beauty that you are. And as you feel your light, remind yourself there isn't anything that I would like to do that I cannot accomplish. I just have to believe. I believe and I trust that as a spiritual being, a spiritual light, I have the capacity to accomplish whatever I need to do. And even if it is a little overwhelming at times, I can always turn to the divine source for strength, for support, and guidance. I'm never alone. I'm never alone on this journey of life, and it feels good. Now let us hold ourselves in this space, in this sacred space, for another moment. Now take a deep breath in and release, knowing that you have it in you. Om Shanti. So all the best
Om
and see
Shanti.
you next week.
Listen, you're going to have to come back to us on Thursday nights, right? We need your energy. We need you to fill this whole space with beautiful, beautiful Sister Sabita. Thank you. Om Shanti, everyone. Sure.